If you're new here, this is a space where we read, we reflect, and get inspired by stories from some of the books that I have written and I believe will make a great difference in your life. Today I'm going to be reading from my recent book titled Dera's Courage Code, Breaking Free from Bullying. It's about a teenage girl who did not allow bullying to define her. Instead, she found the courage and the strength to break free from bullying. And in doing so, she was able to inspire others to do the same. So if you have ever felt powerless or struggled to find your voice, this Dera story is for you. In this episode, I'm going to be reading chapters 2 and 3 of Dera's Courage Code. This is where Dera began to stand up for herself and took the first brave step towards change. These chapters are filled with and packed with emotions, courage, and life lessons that we can all reflect on. So get comfy, grab your favorite drink, water, coffee, tea, whatever you like, and let's get into Dera's word. Dera was constantly bullied for her kinky hair and skin color as a result of her mixed race. The whispers in the hallways, the snide remarks, and the pointed stares follow her through the hallways of her school like a shadow she couldn't shake, and it made her dread walking into school every day. At times, the comments stung like paper cuts, small but relentless. Other times, they felt like an avalanche threatening to bury her spirit entirely. At first, she tried to blend in, straightening her hair to fit the ideal and avoiding situations where her differences would stand out. But no matter how hard she tried, the comments didn't stop. She often wondered why her classmates couldn't see the beauty in her rich skin or the intricate coils that framed her face. At home, she found refuge in her grandmother's stories. Grandma Rose would sit Dera on her lap and run her fingers through her hair, humming softly. "Your hair," Grandma Rose would say, "is a crown shaped by the hands of our ancestors, and your skin, it is kissed by the sun itself." Dera wanted to believe her grandmother's words, but the weight of the world outside her small home made it hard. One day, after another particular crouton, Dera locked herself in her room and cried until her chest ached. When she finally ventured out of her room that night, Grandma Rose braided her hair while humming a song from her old childhood, telling Dera stories of strong, fierce women who never let the world dim their light. She would tune in with anecdotes about their ancestors who had overcome mountains of prejudice to carve out lives worth living. "You come from people who defied expectations, Dera," she would say with a soft but firm voice. "You are the best part of all of us." Still, the pain lingered. She often wondered why she had to endure sharp edge of others' ignorance. One day, while walking home from school, a particular cool comment about her frizzy hair made her stop dead in her tracks. Instead of rushing home to cry into her pillow, as she often did, she decided to confront the mirror. Staring at her reflection, she ran her fingers through her thick curls, letting them spring back with their natural energy. "What's so bad about this?" she whispered to herself. The next day at school, she made a bold choice. Instead of trying to smooth her curls down with product to hide them under a hood, she let them shine in all their glory. Her classmates stared, some even whispered, but this time, Dera didn't shrink away. During lunchtime, when one of the usual bullies made a snide comment, she turned to her and asked, "Why does my hair bother you so much? Does it make you uncomfortable because it is different or because you've been taught that different is bad?" The question left the bully speechless, and a few kids nearby started nodding in agreement. Something changed inside Dera that day. It began to grow that night when she stumbled upon a dusty book on Grandma Rose's bookshelf called The Art of Embracing Yourself. The book was filled with stories of women and men who faced adversity for their looks, their beliefs, or their origins, but each one of them rose above it. Their words felt like a balm, soothing Dera's wounded spirit. She decided to join the school's spoken word club, using poetry to express her feelings about identity, belonging, and beauty. Her words touched her peers in ways that her quiet presence never had. Slowly, she began to notice that her boldness inspired others to embrace their own uniqueness. A girl with freckles stopped trying to cover them up. A boy with a stutter started volunteering to speak in class. Dera realized that her pain, while heavy, could be a catalyst for change. Inspired by these small yet powerful changes, she understood that her voice carried more than rhymes, it carried healing. At the next school assembly, she was invited to perform her poem titled Unfolding. Standing under the spotlight, palms trembling, she spoke with conviction that silenced the crowd. Her words painted images of resilience, self-love, and the courage to stand even if it meant standing alone in truth. After the applause faded, students she had never spoken to approached her, not just to compliment her performance, but to share their own stories. One girl handed her a folded note with a sketch of a broken mirror, and the caption read, "Thanks for helping me see myself differently." It was in that moment she understood poetry was no longer just an outlet, it was a movement, and she was its spark. The spoken word club soon became her sanctuary. Every poem peeled back another layer of the girl who once hid in the shadows. She began writing not only for herself, but also for every student who ever felt invincible. Chapter 3. Dera no longer saw herself as just a girl with kinky hair and brown skin. She was a voice, a presence, a light. And she learned light can't be dimmed, it can only spread. With the desire to create a lasting change, she sought solace in Grandma Rose. They joined forces with some teachers to address the pervasive issues of diversity in her school. Together, they launched a campaign highlighting the beauty of different cultures and appearances, promoting unity and understanding. This sparked a transformative movement that rippled through the school's culture. The movement gained momentum in the school, leading to workshops on tolerance and appreciation for individuality. As a result, the once hurtful classmates began to understand the impact of their words, and a positive transformation started to unfold within the school community. A pivotal turning point arrived when a 5-day cultural exchange program was announced between her school and a modern school in the big city miles away from Orogodo. During the program, Dera was paired with Aisha, a kindred spirit who shared a mixed race heritage. Being the only one of her kind in her entire school, Dera was pleased to meet Aisha, someone who might finally understand the silent battles she often fought. The questions about her identity, the glances that lingered too long, the loneliness that came from never fully belonging. Aisha had a warm presence. Her laughter lighted up and was contagious. Her eyes carried stories of her own journey. As the two began to work on their assigned projects, an exploration of cultural identity and resilience, they found themselves peeling back layers neither had dared to share with anyone before. Over lunch breaks and late evening brainstorming sessions, their bond deepened. Aisha spoke about growing up in the city where she constantly had to explain who she was. Dera in turn opened up about the bullying she faced, the fear of speaking up, and how she had learned to hide parts of herself just to feel safe. Their project quickly became more than an assignment. It was a mirror into their own souls. They titled it Whispers of Belonging, a multimedia piece blending poetry, spoken word, and a visual storytelling. It was raw, emotional, and powerful. The day they presented it to the group, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. For the first time, Dera felt truly seen, not just as a student or a participant, but also a voice that matters. Later that evening, as the sun dipped behind the horizon, Aisha turned to her and said, "Maybe we weren't meant to fit in, Dera. Maybe we're meant to stand out so others could find their own way too." Dera smiled, her heart lighter than it had felt in years. For the first time, she wasn't just surviving, she was beginning to heal. "You don't have to shrink to fit in," Aisha said on the last day of the program as they were packing their bags to leave. With her voice steady yet gentle, she continued, "Sometimes being different is your superpower." Those words stayed with Dera, settling deep into the places where fear and doubt had lived for so long. For the first time, she began to see her reflection in the mirror not as an outcast, but as a canvas of strength and beauty. Before their final goodbyes, both girls vowed to support each other through the program, knowing that their bond was more than just friendship. It was the beginning of healing and rediscovering who they were meant to be. Through their shared experiences, Dera unearthed the strength in embracing her unique identity. Aisha helped her to unravel the strength in embracing one's unique heritage. That friendship not only ignited Dera's confidence, but also sparked a positive shift in her perception. Back in Orogodo, the program initiative helped bridge divides between Dera's school, foster inclusivity, and planted the seeds of acceptance within the hearts of her once judgmental classmates. A few weeks after her return, her English teacher organized a talent show, and Dera chose to showcase a powerful spoken word piece about self-acceptance and breaking societal beauty norms. The performance resonated with many students in her class, prompting a shift in attitudes within the school. Dera's courage to stay true to herself not only inspired others to embrace their uniqueness, but also fostered a sense of empowerment among those who had previously felt pressure to conform. The once fancy girls began to appreciate and celebrate diversity, realizing that true beauty lies in authenticity. Wow, doesn't that just show the power of courage? Dera's story reminds us that standing up for yourself is not just about you, but it's about others. So if you're ready to follow Dera's full story, grab your copy from my website or from Amazon. I'm going to leave the link below. And so, what are you waiting for? Now remember, courage is contagious. You have the power, just like Dera, you have the power to break free from bullying. You have the power to face your fear, and you have the power to stand up for yourself. And in doing so, you encourage others and you inspire others to do the same. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.